The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.
We're so thrilled to have back on the show the incredibly talented country music singer, songwriter. She's part of the hit duo Thompson Square, Shawna Thompson. You know, you told me when you came in studio, it's like, Eric, I think it's been like 7 years. I'm like, going, no.
It's crazy, right?
It's been like a couple years. You don't change. I get older. What happens here?
Well, thank you. Time does fly, though. I can't believe it's been that long.
It does, especially with our children. But also, speaking of that, with your new album that came out September 13th, Lean on Neon, and I'm listening to these tracks, and at first I thought, oh my gosh, what happened to her and Keifer? Is the band still together? And then when I dig in, it's like going, it's just, what a great tribute this album is, Shawna, to your father.
Thank you so much.
And the depth of the songs, I was thinking about it, it's like a letter. You know,
Wow.
You know, that's the way I took it, you know, listening to the songs.
Well, in the words of Merle Haggard, the roots of my raisin run deep. And my dad, he's the whole reason why I know anything about country music. And I grew up playing music with him. Right. And when I moved to Nashville in 1996, this is the record I wanted to make.
Wow.
But at the time, super traditional country music wasn't the thing, right? So, and then I met Keifer, and he kind of changed everything, you know, because we formed Thompson Square, and that's been amazing, and I love him for that. But I've always wanted to make this record, and in 2019, we found ourselves without a record deal, and we both looked at each other and were like, what are we going to do now? And I said, well, let's make a traditional honky tonk record. So we did.
It is such a great listen, and that's what just wowed me, because I didn't know what to expect. You know, I heard the first song, I'm like going, okay, well, that's not the usual, and then I go through it, and it's just, I was expecting Thompson Square.
Right.
Which, you know, you guys have been, you know, Grammy nominated, you've had so many, you know, awards, and been on all the award shows, but when I dug in, and with the neon songs and Lean on Neon, so many great songs, it's like, then I got it.
Yeah.
You know, and especially I think when you listen to the album in its entirety.
Yeah, it's very throwback. It's very honky tonk. You know, when I first moved to town, played down on Broadway a little bit in honky tonks. It's got all the fiddle, the steel that you could ever dream of on it, which was my dream for my dream record. And then, of course, the co-writes and the other artists that...
Oh my gosh, we got to talk about that, to where you co-wrote on 7 of the songs on here, but also you had, I mean, the list of guests, which, you know, you're incredible on your own, but when you have, you know, Vince Gill, Ricky Skaggs, Jim Lauderdale, Rhonda Vincent, I mean, there's still more.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, we never planned on it being that type of record, but when we started asking people if they wanted to be a part of it, they kept saying yes. So you're obviously not going to turn anybody down, right? So the big one that got me was Vince and Ricky, because I grew up listening to them, and have always been a fan of that high lonesome sound, you know. And the song, again, my dad influenced the writing of that song. I got to thinking about his passing in 2012, and the whole chorus just kind of popped in my head. The name of the song is called Bama Clay.
Right, and I think that's one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Thank you.
And once again, though, not for the guests, you know, and certainly Vince and Ricky are great in their own right, but just the harmonies and the way you guys work together on the song, it just really touched me, and certainly made me think about my late father as well.
Yeah.
And it's like going, it's just such a good, and it reminds you too, you know, growing up in Alabama, and from the time you were 8 years old, going to shows with your dad, and performing with him.
Well, it's cool that you say that, because I've had a lot of other people comment on socials, you know, this reminds me so much of when I was a kid, and the music that my parents played around the house, or my grandparents played around the house, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with the record. I want people to feel like they're going back in a time machine. And even now, when I sit down and listen to it, it's like, man, this so takes me back to my childhood.
It was just incredible, but also I think what you brought to the table on it too, Shawna, is it's still fresh. Because like even, you know, with you and Pam Tillis, which love that song too. It's like, but I mean, it's got the old sound, like the guitars, you know, you mentioned the steel with the fiddles and everything else, and I love the effects, but also your voice is on top, so the production is modern. But I think, it's got the traditional country sounds.
Yeah, thank you. You know, Keifer produced it along with Chad Carlson.
Right.
And,
I hope Chad gets some work going, because I know it's been a little rough with, you know, working on those other hit albums.
Right.
With
He's
all the
done
big
a few
artists.
Cool things, you know, like Taylor Swift,
Right.
Chris Sherwood.
And Shawna.
No big deal. Yeah, you know, it was really important when we went in the studio to keep this thing super authentic. And when we were sitting in the control room with the musicians, we were like, look, y'all, this is not, we don't intend for this to be played on current country radio.
Right.
We know that it's not going to be played on current country radio. Let's go back to 1960 and just do it like they would have done it then. And a lot of the ways they mic the amps, the upright piano, that tone, you know, of the upright piano, little things like that, you know, make it feel super authentic in 1960s, 70s honky tonk.
It sounds so organic to me, but also, you know, like you and I know from with the microphones and everything else, it sounds cleaner though also.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, your voice really shines through, which I've always loved your voice. And, but the songs, I mean, there's just such depth. And it had to be hard choosing the songs for, I mean, your debut solo album. So like you said, I mean, back to 1996.
Well, I've had a long time to think about it. So the song choice, everything about this project, I don't know what it is about it, came very easily.
Yeah.
And I think it is due to time. You know, we took so long, it took so long to happen. But, you know, Together Again was my dad's favorite song. And when we played shows together, he sang that song.
Oh,
Nobody else sang that song. So Keifer, on the last day of cutting, he was like, are you sure there's nothing else that you want to put on here for your dad? And I said, well, I'm not sure. So I had the radio playing as I was getting ready, and Together Again came on, and I just broke down. And I said, we have to do this. We have to cut, or Keifer did. And I was like, I've never sang it before because Daddy always sang it, but we'll do it. So yeah, we got in the studio and did one take, and that's all I could do. And after that, it was over. I was just so emotional.
But I mean, the album to me comes across as emotional. I mean, like I said before, when I was listening to all of the songs, which they're all incredible gems on their own, but it felt like a love letter to your father.
Absolutely. You know, I was still am a complete daddy's girl.
Right.
And that's exactly what it is. And I feel like he was in every right with us along the way. He helped us pick the songs.
Right.
His bass is on there. Keifer snuck his bass guitar into the studio without me knowing. There's a song called Jones in the Jukebox. It's one of the tracks on there.
Such a great song.
A song that I sang when I was a kid playing in bands with him. And Keifer snuck the bass in there. And at the end of the song, after they got done with the track, I was in the vocal booth, and he goes, hey, look who played bass. And the bass player held Dad's bass up. So again, very emotional for me because I was
priceless.
really, really tight with my daddy.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you, it shows through every song and all the music. But I also have to bring up now, you are an artist with Sun Records.
How crazy is that?
That's amazing, you know, because I was going through all the material, and it's like, once again, you know, knowing you and Keifer, and obviously with the great things that you've done with Thompson Square over the years, but then Sun Records?
Yeah, it was just this weird, crazy thing. Again, this whole album, everything that's like come together, it's just been this gift from God.
Right.
I mean, we have a very dear friend that is a part of that whole Sun Records family over there, and Keifer took the record to him and was like, I think this is the place for this album because of what it is. It's super country, and I mean, all these legendary artists on Sun Records, like, it just kind of fits with that type of music, you know?
Right. Because we all grew up with that. It's like, you know, I was telling you before we came in the studio, I remember as a teenager having the Sun Records t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, it's like going, because of all the legends that had been on Sun.
Oh, it's insane.
And now you're one of them.
Well, I wouldn't say legends. Not yet anyway.
I know, but I mean, but how great is that?
It's incredible. Like, I still pinch myself. I mean, it's crazy. They sent the vinyl label to show me, and they changed the color of it to lavender because my album cover is lavender, and I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the Sun record label, and it's in lavender, and it has my name on it. So it was a pretty incredible moment to see that.
I love the photos and everything too, because once again, following you guys, seeing the photo sessions and all that, and then seeing the completed album cover, just looks so great.
Thank you, and so much thought went into that as well. Manuel has always been like, in the back of my mind, I wanted to be dressed by Manuel, right? But it's Manuel. Who gets to Manuel, you know?
Right. And having him here in town.
Yeah. So when we got ready to do the album cover, I was like, if there's any way we could get a Manuel suit, that would be amazing. So we made it happen, and I was able to meet Manuel and talk with him and sit down He's incredible.
He is incredible and
Yes.
still does great work.
Oh,
But he only does it
every-
for certain people.
Oh, every day he's
Yeah.
in there doing something.
He
in a
said that
shop.
Marty Stewart owns more Manuel outfits than he does.
I believe that is correct. Yes.
Well, I wanted to bring this up too because obviously you're going to be on a big tour with this, and it's going to be with Thompson Square and doing your debut album. So are there going to be costume changes?
No costume changes. No, I wish
It
I could
seems like
go
there should be.
put the Manuel on and come back out. But no, it's been really cool, you know, to be in a duo or a band and then try to do something on your own.
Right.
It's tough sometimes.
Right.
And because people have this ideal of who you are as an artist, but you know, I have individual things that I'd like to do and styles of music that I'd like to get out there. And I think some people forget, you know, when you're in a band or a duo. So,
Yeah, you're still an individual artist.
yeah, so when you come out to a Thompson Square show, you're going to see the difference in Thompson Square and who Shawna Thompson is as an artist.
I think the audience is going to embrace it because I think it's a testament to, you know, to you and Keifer both to where, you know, your roots, you know,
Right.
growing up in Alabama and the music that you grew up with your dad and that you performed. And then you come and, you know, labels and the world kind of changes you.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see. We've maybe 5-6 shows now that we've started implementing my set, and you can see people go, "Whoa, what is this?" It's really
It's
cool.
nice though, but you know, I think also the great thing about it with you doing, you know, the more traditional classic country is hopefully it will make listeners and people that come out to the concerts go back, you know,
Yeah.
and listen to those artists that you're, you know, recognizing. And certainly I'm sure some of the times you're going to have some of the guests that are on the album pop in on stage
Well,
with you if they happen to be in that city.
We'll see, and if that happens, it more than likely will be on the Opry or something like that. But
That might be nice.
Another thing, you know, for me that is exciting is seeing younger people that they don't realize what traditional country music is.
Right.
They just hear country music
Right.
on the radio.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little lesson, you know, Honky Tonk 101.
It is.
when
I
they
love
listen
it.
to my music.
I like you're opening up their ears and their eyes.
I hope so.
I think so. Well, I want to bring up also that the album is not only going to be available for digital downloads, but also on CD and incredible vinyl.
Yes, vinyl. That was another thing. We were like, this has got to be on vinyl. The music is just perfect for it. So it's really pretty too. I've seen it. It's lavender, the vinyl is.
Well, you're going to have some cool honky tonk swag to go with it too.
Yeah,
Besides the Thompson Square merch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a really cool Sun Records shirt that you can get right now. There's a
See?
bundle, so y'all go check it out.
Well,
Sunrecords.com.
Well, I want to make sure also, Shawna, that for your website, for social media, for seeing you guys on tour, for the next time that you appear on the Opry, which I can't wait to see that with these songs, where do our viewers need to go?
Everything is Shawna Thompson Music. So X, all the socials,
All of it.
Facebook, TikTok, I can't think of them all right. Instagram, it's all Shawna Thompson Music.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know it's been a long time coming, but I think it was worth the wait. And I love this new album.
Thank
and
you.
And I know your father would be proud of it too. And it's just, it's so heartfelt. However you consume music, be sure and check out the entire album. I can't tell you which song is my favorite, Bama Clay, but there are many great songs on here, and listen to them all and add them to your playlist, but also get a copy of the CD or the vinyl, but also be sure to go and see Shawna Thompson in concert. And also then you get to see Thompson Square also.
That's right.
It's like
It's a
two
twofer.
bands. Yeah, literally. But I'll tell you what, I love the album, and congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.